do you see when you look at me? Imagine you've never met me before. Some of you haven't. And you see me crossing the street. Or maybe you see me in some gala evening somewhere. What do you see when you look at me? Would you think I was a Chinese person, for example? Maybe not. Would you think I was Dutch? There's a small chance that's not possible. You might think I was from Suriname, from Pakistan, from India, any of these places. You can relax, I'm not here to stereotype the audience here. I'm asking you this because these are the same questions I have for myself. What do I see when I look at myself? What do I identify myself with? If you came up to me and said, hey, so where are you from? How do you identify yourself? Should I start by telling you that, well, I'm from India because I was born there, because my traditions, my culture is Indian? Or should I just tell you that I'm from Saudi Arabia because I spent 10 to 15 years growing up there? My biases, my opinions, and my understanding of the outside world come from that bubble. Or should I just tell you that I'm from the Netherlands because I've been living here for 4 or 5 years already? I'm trying to understand Dutch, I'm trying to understand the culture here. And if we all went out to have a nice drink, I would be really happy if we went Dutch when it came to the bill. Jokes apart, how do I identify myself? Because these are different phases of my life. And all to get some inspiration, I try to look at some sources. Maybe religion, maybe philosophy. And that's when I came to this really nice concept called as the ship of Theseus. Now the ship of Theseus is the ship in which Theseus went out to do his great deeds. He is a Greek hero. When he came back, after all those years, people took his ship and kept it in the local museum. And they thought, the people who came after can remember him for all the good things that he did. But as time passed by, the ship began to break and rot. So people took those pieces and threw it, and took new pieces of wood to replace that. And as time went by, there was one point in time where the complete ship did not have any piece that went out with Theseus. The question now is, will you still call that the ship of Theseus? Or if I took all the rotten pieces and built a ship here, will I call that the ship of Theseus? What do I identify myself with? The one that was born in a certain culture, or the one that changed over time? Which is the ship that is me? I ask you this question, as I said, because each of these phases are quite different. If you met me 7 years ago and asked me, so, what kind of music do you listen to? What do you like? And I would respond to you by saying, music? Music is just a waste of time. Why would you listen to music when you could be playing sports outside? Reading a book, watching a nice movie. Music was like drop to me. And as a non-native Dutch person, it's not something that you really like. But now, if you ask me, so what kind of music do you listen to? You have to sit down with me, because I can go on hours about the music that I like. And I'm trying to discover the huge thing that I've missed when I was growing up. The different genres of music, the different artists, the different experiences of music. It helps me to calm myself and shut down the background noises when I'm working every day. Music is like stroopwafel. I can have at least one every day. Also, years ago, if you met me, my mother, she used to take tuition for her students in our house. We had a hall, and she used to have kids from her school where she used to teach math, teenage girls. I would not enter the room the moment the kids came in, the girls came in, because I thought that if I did, if I had to cross, get my book or my clothes or something, I would by chance look at the other girls sitting there. And I thought that was indecent, because that's what I believed back then. That's what my traditions and values meant. But now, I am not going to tell you that I've turned into a creep or a stalker, no. I've been married to my wife, who we went out for several years before we realized this is the thing that we want to do. And that was completely different from the person before. Now, as I go forward in life, as I keep changing the ship that I am, what do I trust in? Which of these do I hold? Because I don't want to be in one part of the future where I have regretted the decisions that I've made. If I ask my relatives back home, Orthodox relatives, for advice, they would say, oh no, Irfan, no, don't adapt the West, don't be more open, stick to your roots, stick to your culture, that's what keeps you going, that's what your identity is. And if I ask my friends here, or maybe one of you, probably you would say, it's good to be more liberal, more open, and accept new things. But which of these two do I take as I go forward? What I understand is that as my ship changes over time and as I adapt to different things, the moral compass that guides me throughout remained the same. For me, that was inquisitiveness, the willingness to ask questions, to question my own self-belief. Having born in a different country, grown up in a different country, and now staying here in the Netherlands, and having a completely different view in terms of music, behavior, or interaction with women, or other things, I believe that my moral compass has helped me go through these phases, and I am happy where I am right now. And that's the question for you too. You will also meet new people, have new jobs, and you will go on in life, changing the ship that you are. But if you know what your moral compass is, if you know what guides you throughout, that will help you keep going in the direction that you want to be eventually. So ladies and gentlemen, I have one last question for you. What do you see when you look at yourself?